You need momentum. So momentum is the thing that matters the most. Get it out there, test it on people. And if everybody's loving it and they remember it instantly, cool. And if they don't, and they're like questioning, it's like, okay, let's change the name. And now let's turn it into a business. What do you feel most connected to that you love, that you also feel the ability to help people with? That's a product, right? That's a 6-week course or an 8-week course. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, we did it! I'm so excited.
It's happening. This is Ron. He's part of my Movement Makers program and joined for a year. And as part of that, we do an IG Live together. So we made it happen. Great to have you here, Ron. And what do you got? How can I help, man?
I've got a couple questions, but I just want to kind of bounce off where I'm at and what I'm doing, and get the feedback because you are the man, and I'm so honored. So I've been a coach for about 5 or 6 years, so I like helping people, and I've noticed over the years that a lot of the people have achieved promotions and improvements in their life, but they didn't believe it. They always had that imposter syndrome. Okay. So I wanted to come up with something to help people to go from imposter syndrome to success syndrome. And I'm thinking I'm just relabeling it success syndrome, because when you say syndrome, maybe the imposter is implied. I don't know. That's something to chew on. So I do a 3-step program where we introduce the growth mindset by Carol Dweck, which is the foundation of everything in life. Mm-hmm. And then I have a specific program where I have people manifest their affirmations. It's not enough to say that you want to attract money. You actually have to work at it. You have to have a goal. You have to have a plan. You have to evaluate your plan. You have to give yourself props at the end of the day for everything you did right, because you're only thinking about that one thing you did wrong when you've got imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. And the third part, which is a really super cool part, is intentional nasal breathing. Mm. Right. I know you've got allergies, so we could go down a rabbit hole here. But intentional nasal breathing clears the head, and Olympic athletes have used it in soccer teams, and I've been testing it out for several weeks now. I actually tape my lips shut when I go to bed to force myself to breathe through the nose, and then during the course of the day, I am using the different nasal breathing techniques. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed more endurance at the gym. I've dropped a couple pounds without a change in diet.
Let's go.
And looking at all the studies, because I'm the guy who breaks science down into English for people. Mm-hmm. I figure I'm going to have to bury all the science in a bonus section in the back of the membership groups. And anyone who wants to see it, God bless, Godspeed, go for it. But I want to be able to just get people into it and breathing within 5 days and start changing their lives and believing in themselves. And because it's such a small thing to do, it's going to give them confidence in all these other areas of their life as well. Mm-hmm. So not only are we going to take care of the imposter syndrome, but people will have better sex, better health, and better looks, because it actually increases your jawline and straightens your teeth at the same time. Mm-hmm. And cures acne, among other things. It's just wacky stuff. It's big in Europe. People keep trying to do it in America, but it hasn't really caught on. And I've got a Zoom with the expert in England next week, and she's going to tell me how she's running half-day workshops for a lot of money to do it.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah, I mean, Wim Hof has done a lot in this around the breathing plus the cold. James Nestor.
Yep. Yeah, he's my guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of the science, and he's brought the mouth taping and the nasal, I forget what they're called, that open your nose at night that you can put in.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's still new. Most people do not know how to breathe. Most people are just like they're dehydrated on water. They're dehydrated on oxygen, whatever that technical term would be. But
actually, they're over-oxygenated. People breathe too often each minute. You actually need to slow down the breathing and actually take in half a breath and breathe out longer to start building up the endurance. It's not hard to do. But again, it could be a standalone course at some point, but I like the idea of helping people And the imposter syndrome, the success syndrome, we've both helped the underdog. I mean, I've heard you talk about helping the people who haven't gotten started so many times, and you've got a soft spot for them, and I have as well. But most people who are thought leaders do not concentrate on that part of it. So I want to divvy it up to the people who can't get started, because in part of my coaching, I had a M to M to M system where it was motivation to motion to momentum. So this is all kind of under the umbrella, but I want to do it one at a time to keep people, from thinking I'm all over the place and a total airhead.
Cool. Okay, so inside all of that, how can I help, or what's your question?
Okay, my question is, should I relabel it success syndrome instead of imposter syndrome to success syndrome, which is the cute little logo I've made I can hold up? From IS to SS through BS. Now,
that's funny.
Imposter syndrome to success syndrome through belief system. Right?
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't get too caught up on the names. Okay. It doesn't matter that much. If I had to break it down, syndrome often feels like a bad thing. So right. I don't know that there's any positive word that comes with syndrome.
Nope.
I can't think of one, but my English knowledge may not be the greatest anyway. But so that would be my only concern, is that we're connecting to a negative.
Sure.
So success, I might call it something else. But at the end of the day, also, market test it. I think more important than the name of it is the energy you show up with, and your connection and passion for it will be the thing that carries people. And if people keep saying success syndrome, Ron, it just doesn't make sense, then cool. Then you change it, move on to something else. Okay. Or people love it and say, man, this is the greatest thing of all time. Then you keep going with it. Just like my book, Built to Serve, right? The initial name is not Built to Serve.
It was who, what, why, why, exactly. How.
Who, why, how.
Yeah, man, love it.
Well, but here's the thing.
But it didn't test.
Well, but not even it didn't test. People got it wrong. You just got it wrong.
Sure.
Right? And everybody got it wrong. I made the decision when my literary agent, I was talking to her and saying, I don't know if we should keep the name. People can't get the name. And she's like, no. I love who, where, when. It's great. And it's like, that's not even the name. You got it wrong. She got it wrong, right? And so it's like, okay, I love it. I think it's great. But if people can't remember it and it's not resonating, then I need to change it to something else. And I think we landed on a better name with Built to Serve. So you test it and you try it. If people say, man, I love success syndrome, it's awesome. Cool, you keep going. And if not, then you swap it up and go to something else. But I wouldn't let the name be the reason. Momentum is the thing that matters the most. In your 3 M's, right? You need momentum. So momentum is the thing that matters the most. Get it out there, test it on people. And if everybody's loving it and they remember it instantly, cool. And if they don't, and they're questioning, okay, let's change the name.
Yeah, love it. I learned so much from you, my man. Last week you mentioned that Instagram Reels were where it's at. So I'm doing 2 or 3 Reels a day now. I'm still doing thought leadership videos on YouTube about once a week. I'm almost there. I'm almost there for about 15 minutes or so. And talking has never been a problem for me. I'm blessed with a photographic memory, and I have been on stage and have written courses and helped people for a long time. So
well, I think coaching though should be the content you make.
Yep.
Less talking and more coaching. If you want to sell coaching services, if that's the thing that we're trying to sell is Ron the coach, hire me to coach you, or group coaching, then more coaching. There's a great Wim Hof video where he shows there's a woman and asks her to do push-ups, and she does however many push-ups, and then he does the breathing with her, breathe 30 times in, whether you follow the Wim Hof method or you do something else. But it's demonstrable. Where then if you took somebody, if you say, hey, nasal breathing helps you with your allergies, and then you take somebody who's got crazy allergies and they go outside and they're sneezing their face off, and then they come in and they spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, half an hour, whatever is actually the dose that they would need. And then they go back outside and oh my God, Ron, my life has changed, right?
It starts with 90 seconds. I mean, it's really easy to get into.
But that's the best content. Like that's how Tony Robbins built up his entire career, was saying, show me your biggest phobias and I'll cure them from stage. So the coaching part, especially when you can demonstrate it, because breathing is very demonstrable. You could do it live with them. You could show them how to do it. And, am I closing my mouth all the way? Am I breathing through one nostril? Am I closing and closing?
I do that. I do that. I definitely think that's resonating. I agree.
You show it with them, and then let me see something. Let me see them do push-ups or go outside with hay fever or throw dust in their face or whatever, versus a lot of, in regular coaching of like examining limiting beliefs and helping them get momentum. It's a lot of mental gymnastics that you have to do for them to get a result, versus this, which is very physical, which we can all go off and see. And some people will watch that and may say it's fake or that's an actor or somebody. And other people will say, wow, like this is brand new. Who's this Ron guy? How do I get in his circle? I want to work with him, right? And so not that I would give up on what you're doing with the content, but if you layer in, if you want to be a coach, then we need to layer in coaching content to show what you're capable of doing.
I think that's fantastic, and I'm going to start figuring out how to get people to go live and help them one-on-one and have them hold their noses. And
it's also fun, dude. It's fun, right? Like to help somebody.
Oh yeah, I love. Anytime. It's the energy. I feed off energy. You feed off energy. It's the universal elixir, right?
Yeah. I heard this great quote yesterday. They was talking about somebody asked him, "Is it the destination or the journey? Is it the destination or the journey?" No, he said it's neither. It's the company.
Oh, really? Love that.
It's the company, right? So it's like we're here to serve and help, and not just a company like our family or our team, but also the people that you're serving, your customers, your clients, the people who get the knowledge from you. So if you feed off of that, then the easiest way to do it is you start, like, how many people follow you on your Instagram?
I just started this Instagram channel. I think I'm up to 48 people in 2 weeks.
Perfect. So you DM 48 people.
Yep.
You send a video message to say, hey, thanks for following me. Happy Thursday. Like, you just give them some love. I appreciate you. Listen, I'm starting a new show where I'm helping people with nasal breathing to unlock their life. Right. Do you want me to do it with you for free on an Instagram Live?
Sure.
And, 3 people out of 48 write back and say, you know what, let's do it.
Everyone's got a problem. Sometimes when we're doing the marketing side, it's like we have to ask people, what is your problem? And let them talk for 15 seconds to actually figure out what their real problem is. Because, right? Am I right? It's just, it's the universal truth. People, it's always a layer deep for people, what their actual problem is.
That's why if you're doing coaching, you need to have somebody in front of you and not just answering text questions, because the question that they come up with is not really the question that they need help with.
And that's the breakthrough moment that we all want to have and look for. I love that.
You get that by actually talking to somebody and because you're going to ask them questions and you pull it out of them. And it's also, again, it's the most fun, as opposed to you saying, here's the 7 ways to build momentum in your life, which can work. That's like a talking head video, direct to camera. You come up with your 7 ways, go. And you can do it, and you love talking, and you've done stage work, cool. But even more powerful is that take somebody who's stock, who has no momentum, and then you spend 10 minutes with them, 20 minutes with them, 5 minutes with them, half an hour with them, and you help them actually get some momentum and ideally do something. Like, where are they? The nasal one is the easiest one, because then, okay, here's your problem. Cool. Let's breathe. And then go do push-ups or go walk outside or go, like, you're not going to notice a jawline improvement in 90 seconds, but like allergies and push-ups and other things that are more demonstrable for them and for the audience is great, and how you start to win. If it's momentum, then what are they missing? Maybe they need to go live. Maybe they need to start writing their book. Maybe they need to call their business partner. Maybe they need to send an email and then do it with them. Have them make that phone call live with you. Have them send that email while you're on, so that they're actually getting momentum on the thing that they've been sitting on for the past decade, right? That's what a great coach does. But now if we can film it so you have content, then it helps promote the coaching business.
during COVID, I dropped a couple courses, but I also helped 6 people finish their courses and books as well, because they really had no excuse at that point. It's like, if either you were working or you weren't in America. If you weren't a center, you weren't working for almost 5 months. So if you started a book, here's a great time for you to finish that book, right? And I helped 40 women start podcasts all around the world. And I felt it didn't make me a whole lot of money, but it kept me busy, and it kept me, and just the joy that I got from helping other people. Those people still DM me, and email me, I've got a friend who needs help with this. And it's like, of course,
and now let's turn it into a business. So now,
sure.
If you can productize it, if you've helped 40 people launch a podcast, then you have your product launch challenge. And you're going to take 20 people in who will all pay you X amount, and we're all going to start our podcast together. You're going to guide people through the process. There's community built in, so they're not just doing it by themselves. And however long it takes, if it's once a week for 8 weeks or whatever the mojo is that requires to get it going. But instead of it just being like, when you can attach a product to it, it makes it easier to package and sell, as opposed to, Ron can help you. I mean, Ron helped me. He's great. But what are we packaging, right?
Right.
So if you have an 8-week podcast launch formula that every 8 weeks runs again and launches again, and then you get 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, whatever makes sense, however many people you can handle, that they're all doing it together. Now you become, as part of what you do, the podcast launch guy. Or if it's the books, right? It's hard to launch a book in a couple weeks, but whatever, to get the outline of the book done, whether it's like whatever it is that is feasible in a certain amount of time, or it's a 6-month program together with you, right? Like if you packaged it. Yeah.
I was going to say true believers will go 6 months with the thought leader, but most people want those instant gains. And I tried a 21-day challenge, and people dropped off halfway through. So I think that there is a sweet spot there until you're I feel that I'm the expert in a few fields, but until I'm acknowledged as the expert, I'm thinking 4 to 6 weeks is probably max on those things.
I mean, if people are paying, they're much more committed than if they're not.
True.
Right? So if it's a 21-day challenge that they're not paying for, it's easy to drop out.
Skin in the game.
And can they get, like, a launch of a podcast is a pretty easy outcome, right? In that if by the end of this 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever, again, whatever makes sense, you have launched your podcast. You have the tools you need, you have the confidence you need, you have the script and whatever else that you need, the momentum, the community, the love, the support, the nasal breathing to help you launch your podcast, right? And then it's out. First podcast is done. By the end of 6 weeks, 8 weeks, your first podcast is live. So books are a little harder because, just what's a tangible outcome in 6 to 8 weeks that you can have everybody go through and do. But those are all, then it comes down to, do you actually enjoy doing those things, and do you want to turn that into a product, or was it just there was a fun thing you did during COVID and you kind of want to focus on the nasal breathing and something else as opposed to launches? But whatever you love doing, turn it into a product or a package.
I like it all. I've tried a couple different things over the last couple years. I'm following, what is it? Follow one mentor at a time until success, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. Here's a hint for all the public speakers out there. Instead of taking a deep breath before you start your talks, breathe out, and you will have extra energy for that first 30 seconds that you need. And that's just a cool little thing that I've learned along the way. So, and it completely reduces your blood pressure and your anxiety and all of those great things as well. So
yeah. So I mean, if you wanted to do breathing workshops or breathing circles,
that's where I'm feeling that I'm going. I want to get the model. This woman's blessing me with the model, and I can't ask for more than that in life. It's just good karma to go out there and do good things for people, and hopefully, things like this come back around the other side.
And then it still comes down to packaging it. So,
of course,
breathing for everybody. I mean, breathing, almost everybody does not breathe correctly, right? So can it help everybody? 100%. But that's not something that we can sell or package very well. People want solutions to a problem. So if you said breathing for allergies, that's a product. If you said breathing for stress, that's a product, right?
Asthma. Huge market.
Whatever you like, all of it is all connected. But like, what do you feel most connected to that you love, that you also feel the ability to help people with? And then that's a product, right? That's a 6-week course or an 8-week course that you're guiding people through, whether it's once a day, once a week, 3 times a day, breathing circles every morning, lunch, and eat, like whatever is the actual dose that people need to do with you to really get the results that they're looking for, but packaged into breathing for X, breathing for sex, breathing for speaking, breathing for asthma, breathing for whatever, right?
Here, I want to ask a question because so you said something about a morning breathing group, and I love that idea. Now, what do you think about the idea of doing it in different time zones at different, let's say 7 o'clock for the East Coast and 10 o'clock for LA, and then 1 in the morning for London? Do you think that would resonate with people? Do you think that or just test it and find out?
You kind of need to guide it. So you could start with 1. I probably would not start with UK. I would pick East Coast, West Coast. It's just easier. Okay. But whatever. I mean, if you're saying no, my heart's telling me UK, perfect. I mean, you go with what feels right.
I've got a lot of love from the UK. I got some love from Australia too.
Yeah. So what is you have to guide people through the thing that you want them to do. So and like it's got to work, but they're going to follow you as their mentor until they're successful, right? So for us to have success in this, if we're going to be breathing for asthma or breathing for energy for the day or breathing for like whatever we package this thing at, part of that is a breathing circle. I don't know why I'm saying breathing circle. I guess it feels right, but breathing circle.
It sounds okay. Until we come up with something better. I think it's
breathing
good.
circle. Breathing circle with Ron, and whether everybody joins a Zoom call or whatever it is, and you guide people through. You have to tell them, how long is it? This is 90 seconds. This is 5 minutes. This is 8 minutes. This is 20 minutes to start your day.
This is part of your miracle morning. It's 5 minutes.
Cool. Right. So 5 minutes every day. We meet every day at 7 a.m. and make it easy for you, convenient, especially at the beginning, because you have to wake up. If you're not normally up at that time, or it's awkward, you're taking kids to school or whatever, right? I mean, balance it around your life.
I was going to say there are 3 dogs in my life, so I'm up by 7 o'clock every day of the week.
So if it's 7 a.m., like you give it a shot, and you build the consistency around it. And this can even be this could be a free thing that you do every day on Instagram Live, as an example. And
sure.
People get to know that that's what you're for, and with time, people will, like, I go live usually every day at 2 o'clock Eastern.
Right.
That's the habit that we've trained. And when we tried to get it the first time, it was 2 o'clock Eastern. Now this is a weird time for me. People aren't used to coming watching me at 4:30 in the afternoon, right? So you start to train people what to expect. And if it becomes a great part of their day, then you can start with the breathing, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a prayer, maybe there's a mantra, maybe there's a meditation, maybe there's, again, whatever is core for you, that, hey, this is a great way to start. Maybe you play an Evan Carmichael video that you all watch together. I don't know. It's like however you start your day. You do laughing yoga afterwards. Whatever. I
do send Reiki around the world at 5 o'clock every afternoon. So I guess I could do that. Dude,
that's alive.
Yeah.
Remember in our Built to Serve challenge?
Oh yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I was the other Reiki. I was the other Reiki guy.
I know, but that could be a thing where every morning you do a breathing exercise with people, and you guide them through having their morning breath work done to have energy for the day. And then every day you close with a Reiki session. And again, maybe you just load up the front page of the New York Times and you're sending love to whatever is showing up there. You know, you send love.
I can do it as coaching. People need healing. You know, I'm getting a lot out of this, Evan. I don't know if you noticed, but you're pretty cool.
I love it. But you could go. It could be like Ukraine's on the cover, so you're sending love to Ukraine, and
yep.
You know, if you're not, you might have to like put in the, like, I tag movement makers here in the pinned comment. So if you have your eyes closed and you're not talking, then you might have to just say Reiki for Ukraine or something, right? So people can kind of get a sense of what you're doing.
Sure.
People could ask, like, "Hey, Ron, can you send some love to
my aunt, my mom?" Sure, of course.
I mean, people get that all the time. You know, like I've had friends message and say, "Hey, we're going through something right now. We know the power of prayer and it works. Can you please keep X in your prayers?" And, you know, people need that. And so even just to comfort that somebody out there is helping them as well, right? So you can have a request line and you spend 30 seconds on each person. Or again, like whatever, it all works. It's just, you have to do the thing that I'm just picking up energetic ideas, right? But it's like, what feels the most right for you inside of a Reiki session? So
sure.
Wukong in our thing was like sending love to the person who was talking because there was, you know, some stress going on. So he was trying to ease it, right? So that could be it too, right? But as long as it's not just a strategy, it feels right to who you are.
Sure.
And yeah, then maybe you create a Reiki circle that then people are also helping you or joining you, or, you know.
It is actually called a Reiki share or Reiki circle.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't think I use a circle at all day today. And with you now, it's like every third word out of my mouth is circle. So there's something there.
One of the concepts I came up with a long time ago was called virtuous circles. Okay. And they're the opposite of vicious cycles. In a virtuous circle, you do something right and it all becomes momentum. It's all positive love.
So I think with you, I think there's still a lot of testing and a lot of love that you can put out. And you've done some already, like the helping people and the authors and the podcasters and all that, and continue to test and try and reach out. And the next step becomes, okay, let's make this public. So it's not just Ron helping people behind the scenes and helping 40 people launch a podcast, but we're going to do everything public now. So we're going to do public prayer circles or Reiki circles and public breathing circles or whatever we're going to call them. But it's public, and you try all of them and you see what connects the most with you. And then packaging those things into a program for people to go deeper with you. So it's easy for them to say yes to. So it's not like, I think Ron can help me, but I'm not, what does he do? Like, oh, I've got my 8-week program for X. So all the stuff you've been doing, but private, now public, plus packages. Yep. The 2 Ps, for the 3 Ps, from private to public and packages.
Love it.
Yeah.
I can see that becoming a phrase very quickly. That's awesome. That's all I needed today. I needed some energy. I needed some love, and you gave me all of that and more. And I couldn't ask for, a better way to be showcased and introduced to some of the people who love you too, man.
I'm excited, man. There's a need. There's a lot you can do with it. It's just a matter of now staying consistent on it. Like all of the stuff that you've done in private, making it public and creating some packages. And it was an honor to kind of go deeper and get to know you a little bit better. And we'll see you next week in Movement Makers.
Dude, all the love and love to Nina.
All right. Thank you, Ron. I'll talk to you soon.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
What do you mean mental health? Go do your work. It's hard to create a course when you haven't guided people enough times through your process.
So we're relatives.
There you go. We're connected.